Hi, Nico.
Hello, Jean.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. The ninth scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has three hideous faces. That's the gem that Pegram found in Loch Marne. That's the tripod in the Croon Museum. Have you found out any more about the Knights Templar?
Yes, I have. The guy responsible for their downfall was Philippe IV, the King of France, otherwise known as Philippe le Bel. Well, he is known to history as Philippe the Fair, but I doubt if the Templars called him that. I'm sure André will tell you all about him.
See you soon.
Yeah, see you.
Hi, André.
Hello, Georgie.
What can you tell me about Philippe le Bel?
He was responsible for the extermination of the Knights Templar.
I know that, but why was Philip so hot to get rid of them?
Mostly because he wanted to get his hands on their treasure. He had an enormous debt and a lifelong war with England to fund. The trouble was, the Templars were a highly respected holy order.
If the Templars were so powerful, how did this Philippe dude wipe them out?
By underhanded, dishonorable means, of course. The Pope was Clement V, a Frenchman.
French, huh? Handy for Philippe.
Fate had nothing to do with it. He was Philippe's puppet, planted to further his political ambitions. Philippe wanted the wealth of the Templars and used Clement to get it.
So what was Philippe's plan? What happened?
Sealed orders were sent out all over France, not to be opened until the appointed day. That day was Friday, July 13th. That's the origin of our superstition regarding that date. At dawn, throughout the whole of France, the Templars were arrested. It was the biggest bust in the history of the world.
What happened to the Templars after their arrest?
Philippe was out for blood, so he handed the Templars over to the Inquisition. Not surprisingly, they confessed to a sensational and sordid list of blasphemies.
Like what?
Oh, the sort of things you read about in the gutter press. Devil worship, lewd sexual practices, spitting on the Holy Cross, that kind of thing.
Well, that must have given their lawyers some headaches.
Whether or not the accusations were true, this was not good publicity. Most of the charges were probably cooked up, but so were the Templars, literally. Hundreds of them were found guilty of heresy and flamed grilled at the stake. They died protesting their innocence.
But surely Philippe had no proof of his charges against the Templars.
A man will admit anything under torture. The Inquisition fabricated some nonsensical demon called Baphomet, and then suggested to their victims that this was what they worshipped.
But they didn't have to agree.
The records show a Templar coming to trial with both feet burnt off. Fragments of flesh and charred bone falling from the stumps. What would you not admit to stop such torment?
So there was no truth at all in the Baphomet accusations?
Not a shred. Almost every victim described the idol differently. No, Baphomet never existed outside the sick minds of the Inquisitors.
So Philippe stole the Templars' riches, huh?
Oh no, they weren't stupid. The king's troops marched first on the temple in Paris, then to the Templar home port at La Rochelle. There was no trace of the treasure, and the fleet of the Knights Templar had set sail.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Touching an object as rare and beautiful as that would have been the act of a barbarian. No, monsieur. No, et no. Okay, okay.
Don't even think of climbing in there, monsieur. You'll be suffocated.
I always wondered how it felt to be a mummy. I was no desecrator of tombs. Hello again, officer.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this red...
Aha! There!
It is?
No,
Have you seen this...
no.
I believe him to...
Oh,
Is that all you...
I did, but it did
Look at this gem.
cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. Take a look at this.
Ah, my TV has been acting up. Could you fix it?
I doubt it. This isn't my ID. Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Does it mean anything to you?
Do you belong to some obscure arm of the Masons?
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern. Beyond that, who knows?
Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is? Thank heavens. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
What do you make of this grease paint stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used...
Hell no!
Then please put yours away.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
There was no water to frolic about in, and the leaf mold that was collecting there just wasn't the same somehow. In the middle of the square was a manhole. I wondered if there might be something relevant beneath street level. I didn't have time to... Waiting in prayer for the judgment day. I wondered if this guy had died in combat. A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Per disciplinum meum lux videbis. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. Per disciplinum meum lux videbis. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. I didn't recognize... A huge stained glass window formed a magnificent centerpiece for its neighbors. Per disciplinum meum lux videbis. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. It was an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus with a beautifully painted effigy of its owner on the lid. Hi, Andre.
Hello.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
Are you sure you don't know where Alamut is?
Positive.
What do you make of this ID card?
Nothing.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Did I show you this gem?
Yes, you did.
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
The rod turned smoothly, and the window above me opened. A metal rod attached to the wall was connected to the window. High above me was a window. The window was wide open. High above me was a window.
Pardon me. Oui, monsieur?
What can you tell me about the collection of pottery?
Those are remains of pots used by the original inhabitants of Paris. The Paris pot people.
When did they move out?
15,000 years ago, monsieur. Vanished in the mists of time. Didn't even have time to pack up their pots.
I thought the original inhabitants of Paris were a tribe known as the Parisi.
That is right, monsieur. Renowned for their pots. You see, in those days, people didn't have much in the way of possessions. A few flints, some animal skins, maybe the odd bone or two. Naturally, when the Parisi came along with their pots, why, everybody wanted one.
I guess they must have caused a kind of consumer frenzy.
Ah oui, they cornered the market, cleaned up.
You don't know the first thing about those pots, do you?
No, monsieur.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied hard and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on. Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century, the Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
I found...
That means nothing to me, monsieur.
How did you manage to get this job?
I had the right qualification, a military manner, squeaky shoes, and an irrational hatred.
Thanks for your help. Hi, Andre.
Hello.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
There was no obvious way into the building. A metal rod attached to the wall was connected to the window. High above me was a window. As I reached toward the display case, a shrill piping filled the air. I froze, then tried to get myself together and act nonchalantly.
No, monsieur. No, et no.
Okay. Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Do you have a fetish about
I just love the smell of mothballs, I guess. The case contained a collection of rocks. They were all shapes and colors, but they were still rocks. Above them, a sign read, L'âge paléolithique. The statue didn't deserve to be mauled by a Philistine like me. The statue didn't deserve to be... Hello again.
Yes, Inspector.
Did I show you this
Oui, monsieur.
Shake my hand.
You're joking, aren't you? Nothing personal, but you've been mucking about down this sewer.
What does this
Nothing, monsieur.
Do you recognize?
I can't say I do, monsieur.
This is what I use.
I have one just the same as that, monsieur. I will fetch it if...
No, don't bother.
Oh, it is no bother, monsieur.
Nah, forget it.
Just trying to be helpful, monsieur.
Do you recognize?
I can't say...
Did I show you?
Oh, oui, monsieur. Just like mine. Except that it is much smaller.
Does the name Merlin or Gruber Electronics mean anything to you?
No, monsieur.
Does this gem...
Ah, is it real? It must be worth a small fortune.
A very large fortune, I'd say. Do you know anything about it?
No, monsieur.
Do you recognize the...
Yes, I do. It's that villain I told you about.
Take a look at...
You showed me before.
I have to be going.
Good luck, Inspector. I hope you catch that killer soon.
The toolbox didn't contain anything else I needed. There was no sign of the crew of the ambulance. The door was locked. Hey, Benoit!
Jester?
Forget it. Excuse me, sir. Thanks for your help. Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Have you seen this man here at the clinic?
No, sir. And I never forget a face.
What does this fall?
Oh, it's a clown's nose.
That's right.
Why don't you give me a break and go and play with someone else?
What does this...
I advise you not to flash that around. The hospital insurance wouldn't cover it if it was stolen.
I'd like to shake you by the hand.
Don't be fresh, young man.
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see. He was on ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh dear. He's on ward J2. That's... Nurse Grendel's ward.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock, alarm call.
610, bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
Oh, you mean she's been here a long time?
No, I mean there's not a man in this clinic who hasn't sprawled out on her.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J. How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Fair left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.